Alright, hey guys, welcome to the Truck Master channel. Today I'm going to do a how-to video on installing a turbo wheel on my Duramax 2007. And this application will go for a 2006 to 2007, but if you have a Duramax, it should pretty much be about the same thing, you know, especially the LOYs and LB7s. So a lot of these companies, man, a lot of these Wicked Wheel, Batmo Wheel, whatever, they're all claiming that you don't have to pull that turbo. And I'm going to basically put it to the test to see if I don't have to pull the turbo. That's kind of what I'm up to. If I get too far ahead of myself, I'm gonna go ahead and just pull it. I mean, it's really just 3 pedestal bolts, and then really the hardest part is just accessing, you know, both sides of the truck to get to the up and down pipes and the manifolds to take those off. But I'm not gonna do that. Okay, I don't want to mess with the turbo. All I want to do is take that compression housing off and install the new wheel. So this I ordered off eBay for, I believe it was 140 bucks. Okay. And it says PensacolaDiesel.com, all right? And it's made by, where's it at? Here it is. It's made by Rotomaster, it's called. All right, let's do this. Rotomaster right there, okay? And listen, don't be skipping through steps, okay? I mean, watch the whole video. Just don't miss anything. I'm gonna do a before and after video as well to kind of post up so you get an idea of what the exhaust sounds like, you know, before and after. So this is the actual turbo wheel itself, and it looks pretty sharp. This is a Billet 60.98 millimeter. Okay, that's exactly what that size is right there. And I actually have a stock turbo wheel from an LBZ Duramax, and the comparison side by sides right here. All right, so this is a turbo wheel from a stock Duramax, stock turbo wheel right here. And this is actually a 60 millimeter, is what I read online. Okay, and this is going to be a 60.98, so it's a fraction larger and it's lighter. And this is supposed to apparently increase throttle response, horsepower, miles per gallon, EGTs, all their crazy claims. I have no idea if that's true. And this isn't. I'm not going to try to prove them wrong or whatever. I just want to put it in and see what, you know, see for myself. So. Okay, so first what you're going to want to do is, I went ahead and deleted my resonator, so, you know, I took it off, but just to show you, there's going to be a little hex bolt right here. You're going to want to go ahead and take off first, and there's going to be a clip. I don't have any more, but it's right around the rim of this. You're going to want to go ahead and pull that first. Make sure you remove your mass airflow sensor. It's a clip. Just go ahead and unclip that, move it out of the way. Be careful with this wiring harness right here. Alright, kind of already pre-did it for you, but go ahead and take off that intake. Alright, next what you want to go ahead and do is remove the turbo mouthpiece right here. I'm using a flathead screwdriver to get back there. And there's a little donut clamp around the turbo and the mouthpiece. So go ahead and just loosen it. Loosen it quite a bit too, because sometimes these things don't budge. Alright. Just like that. You see the clamp right here? Remove that. Okay, there's a few things that might be a little different from your Duramax versus mine. I went ahead and took off this turbo shield. It's up here. Go ahead and pull that thing. It's going to be in the way. And I also did the crankcase ventilation reroute right here on both sides, which if you haven't done that already, you're gonna want to go ahead and pull that as well. And it's going to be a 10 millimeter bolt on each side of the crankcase. So go ahead and just pull that bolt there, and then on the opposite side. All right, 11 millimeter deep socket. Okay, so I already pre-did it for you. Go ahead and take this belt off right here. And 4 bolts on each end of the compressor, 15 millimeter. And undo the clip here, and undo the clip right here. And I'm not sure if you're supposed to do this, but I'm doing it because it's kind of in my way. That's why I'm moving it. So just pick it up, move it out of the way if you have some access. All right, so next you're going to have this nut right here. It's going to be a 12 millimeter. Go ahead and remove that on top of the turbo. Go ahead and pull this clip right here. It goes from the turbo, and this should move this whole piece out of the way, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and post a link as well. You guys got to watch my how to install my EGR delete kit right here. So you have an idea on how to pull your stock EGR intake off. Once you pull that off, I'm going to go ahead and take out this bridge right here so I can loosen these nuts off the compressor housing itself from the bottom. Okay, next what you're going to want to do is pull this piece off from the bridge itself, and there's going to be 2 O-rings that go around it basically, and you're going to want to go ahead and remove that. But in order to actually remove that, from what I've noticed, you're going to have to pull this top radiator hose right here. Just go ahead and pull all that up and move it out of the way so you can get this piece out of the bridge. So there's a lot of moving pieces on this one right here. I'm not going to go into exactly how to do all this stuff. It's pretty self-explanatory, but don't let these wiring harnesses intimidate you right here. I mean, they're pretty simple to unclip, and there's going to be a bracket that they're clipped on. Go ahead and pull those bolts. You're going to want to pull the bolts on each side of this top radiator hose right here, and there's going to be 4 bolts on the top right here, and then it's going to reveal your thermostats. Go ahead and pick those up, move them out of the way, and you should be able to pull this piece out from the bridge. Alright, take note, once you pull this out, you might damage the O-rings just because of the awkwardness of when you're kind of yanking on it to pull it out. This is what was left of the O-ring. So, went to the auto parts store, got 2 new ones. They're about $2 a piece, alright? And I'm going to make sure I lubricate those rings before I stick it inside so I don't rip them. And make sure you clean this pipe up too so you get better airflow, because I know these things are going to be gunked up when you pull them out. Alright guys, this is going to be your hardest part of the job right here, is to pull this bridge, and simply because the turbo's in the way, in order to get back there to pull those 4 bolts that hold this bridge on, okay? And the reason why I'm pulling the bridge is, as you can see, the compressor housing, you have all the bolts, of course, that go around it, and right on the very bottom, you can't get to it. It's very tight, but this bridge is actually blocking the 2 bolts that hold the compressor housing to the turbo. So this is why I'm pulling this bridge. So I'm going to show you some tips, techniques, methods, and in order to attack this, make it a little easier. So let me show you. Okay, what you're looking at is that bottom nut on the bridge closest to the turbo on the passenger side. Okay, so as you can see, I was able to get a wrench inside of there. And the only way to do that, I'm going to back it out here. I got my hand right behind the turbo, okay? And I'm able to get a wrench back there. And really all you got to do is just break it loose, guys. You don't have to take it all the way off. And, on the other side as well. So, okay, so make sure you have a long extension. And I'm using a 10mm socket. And I'm accessing the other side of the bridge right here to break that nut loose, which I already did. See how long that extension is in order to get back there. Alright, so in order to get that bottom bolt on the passenger side in front of the turbo, I went ahead and I used a very, very long extension to get back there. And man, if you don't have one of these things, it's going to be really tough, but let me show you. You see where it's flexing right there? It just gives me more play to get back there. So I got the nut, so I'm spinning it right now. Alright guys, once you get those 2 nuts off the bottom bridge here, on the very bottom, closer to the turbo, you want to take those nuts off completely, okay? When you take those off, it's going to be able to free this thing up a little bit easier. So you actually can get access, okay? And as you can tell, I dropped a lot of stuff down there. Make sure you have a magnet. It's going to help out a lot. And you're going to have to move some of these fuel lines out of the way, or some of these lines out of the way, right here and here. So you can kind of finagle this thing out. So, okay, I have access to the bottom bolts here now. Basically, what I did to do that is take that bridge and just go ahead and sort of pry it back. I mean, it's pretty loose, so you'll be able to wiggle it back so you can actually get a wrench back there. I'm actually going to decide not to pull that thing out just because it's so hard to try to get out. And I'm worried it's going to take me longer to put it back in, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave it back for now. So I have access to those bottom bolts, and we should be able to get this whole compressor wheel cover off. Hey, also, in order to get a lot of access back here, you're going to need a lot of swivels and extensions and all that. Where my ratchet is, there's a 10mm bolt that's holding down this line right here. Okay, so go ahead and take that bolt, or I'm sorry, that nut off completely, and move this line out of the way so you have a little more access to the compressor cover bolts. Alright guys, once you get all 6 bolts off the housing, what you're going to want to do is right below there where this line is, you're going to want to go ahead and take that nut that's off of, it's a bracket nut that goes right to the bottom of the housing. You're going to want to go ahead and take that off. That's a 10mm. Once you do that, this is what I did in order to, you know, get more room. I grabbed the line, I kind of bent it back a little bit. It's fine, I didn't kink it or nothing like that. And then let's see if we can get this out here. It should just come right out, just like that. Okay, and then there's the stock turbo wheel. Okay, so once you have that housing off, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and inspect that O-ring that goes around the inside of your turbo. It's really tiny, so go ahead and just run your finger along the O-ring itself, and just visually inspect it. Make sure it's not cracked, ripped, torn, or whatnot. Yeah, it's a little something I wanted to do since I already have it out. So took a wire brush to it, cleaned it up, hot soap and water, and dried it off and put a little coat of paint on it. Alright guys, let me show you what I'm up to here. I went ahead and set it where I want it, and I want a direct shot. I don't want it to go sideways or anything because I don't want to ruin the shaft. So when you do this, you see how I set it up. It was an extension and a deep socket, 16mm, going to that turbo wheel. Just like that. And then I just basically just move this out of the way and move all the wiring harnesses out of the way so we get a nice straight shot. Alright guys, just took some brake cleaner to it and wiped it down. And we'll go ahead and line this wheel back on here. Hang on, so make sure you hand tighten that on best you can. Oh, that's right, it's reverse thread. There we go. Reverse thread, guys, remember that. Just keep turning it until it gets a little tighter. And I counted 3.5 threads exposed, so just make sure that it's in the same exact position. Okay, this is a 14mm. And again, make it straight as possible so you don't bend that shaft. Alright, let me hit it one more time. There we go. That's it. Alright, well, everything's back inside the truck. So some of the things I didn't really cover here, so you get an idea of really what you need to actually take off here. Pretty much everything, guys, everything on the top. You know, the compressor, the alternator, EGR, intake. Of course, I was talking about pulling these wiring harnesses right here so you can get to the back of this bracket. Just, you don't need to remove the whole radiator hose. Basically, just remove it right here, pick it all up, so that way you have complete access to the top, and then really just get into that bridge right there to get that compressor housing off, so you know what you're really getting yourself into. You're looking at, I would say, about a 6-hour job. Alright guys, truck's out of the garage. Pretty excited, everything's put back together. And hey, I didn't have to pull the turbo, so that's pretty cool. But hey, listen, that bridge was tough to try to pull back. I'm not gonna lie, guys. So just a lot of patience, alright, and a lot of tools. If you don't have the tools, the how-to, I wouldn't even attempt this job, to be honest with you. Hey, also that top radiator hose, you're gonna lose a lot of coolant when you pull that thing. So make sure you buy some new coolant before you decide to start this thing back up, alright? Okay, so I'm going to do a review on this installation, and I'm going to say about, I'd say 500 to about 1,000 miles. I'll go ahead and post up a new video. So don't forget to subscribe, guys. Hey, listen, the exhaust sound itself, not much of a difference at all. But listen, this is just my assessment, okay? When I took this thing on the road for a test drive, I went ahead and, you know, I got on a little bit, and it is absolutely a lot faster. I'm telling you right now, the throttle response is very, very much quicker. So that's one thing that I would say was definitely worth it, doing this installation. You know, I thought it would sound differently, and you know, that's not the case at all. It sounds the same, but the throttle response is immense. So again, I'm going to do a review on this installation. I'm going to talk about the fuel economy. Okay, I want to see if that's going to be a factor as well, because I know exactly what I'm getting on my truck. So, alright, so I hope this video helped you out. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.